Hey, greetings, everyone. It's the unapologetically authentic coach, Gloria Bailey Ray, and it's Transformational Tuesday. So, I want to talk to you about the excuse makers. Why some people always have an excuse for everything. We all know someone who always has an excuse, right? No matter what the situation, they have a reason why something didn't get done, why they were late, or why they can't take responsibility for their actions. At first, it may seem like bad luck seems to follow them, right? But over time, you come to realize that this is a pattern. And I want to talk to you today to just ask yourself, drop this nugget. Why do people make excuses? Excuses serve as a defense mechanism, protecting people from discomfort, failure, or accountability. And that word is really, really key. And here are some of the main reasons people resort to having excuses, right? First of all, fear of failure. Some people are so afraid of failing that they rather not try at all. By making excuses, they avoid facing the reality that failure is a natural part of growth, right? But then there's the lack of responsibility. Taking ownership of mistakes can be uncomfortable, and for some, it's easier to deflect blame onto circumstances, other people, bad timing, and it goes on and on. And then there's the low self-esteem piece. Those who doubt their own abilities often make excuses to avoid putting themselves in situations where they might struggle or be judged. There is comfort in victimhood. Some people thrive on playing the victim. If they always have an excuse, they can paint themselves as powerless, which garners sympathy and it avoids accountability. Poor time management could be another reason. Some people use excuses because they lack the skills to plan and prioritize. Instead of admitting, I dropped the ball, they make an excuse to cover it up. So let's look at the impact of constant excuses. While making excuses may seem like a short term solution, it often leads to long term consequences. Lost opportunities would be one. People who constantly make excuses miss out on chances to grow, learn, and succeed. They let fear or laziness hold them back. Frustrated relationships, whether in the workplace, friendships, or personal relationships, people grow tired of someone who never takes responsibility. It damages trust and respect. And then there's the stagnation piece. Excuse makers often stay stuck in the same pattern, unable to grow because they refuse to confront the reality of their actions. So, when to feed or deal with people who make excuses? Feed them with a long handled spoon. What do I mean by that? Literally, you know what? There comes a point when you have to recognize that an excuse maker is not going to change no matter how much encouragement, no matter how much advice or tough luck you offer. I'm here to tell you, this is when you need to feed them with a long handled spoon, as my mom would say. Meaning, you keep your distance and limit how much you rely on them. Here's when to do this. When they never deliver, if you've given them multiple chances to step up, yet they always have an excuse, stop depending on them. Give responsibilities to someone else who follows through. When they drain your energy, constant excuse makers can be emotionally exhausting. If their negativity and avoidance are pulling you down, keep the interactions minimal and professional. When you can't afford their mistakes, if an excuse maker lacks accountability and their lack of accountability affects your work, your business, or your personal life in a significant way, don't give them any tasks that require responsibility. When they play the victim too often, if they always have a sad sob story and expect you to feel sorry for them, set boundaries. You can show empathy without enabling their lack of action. And here's the key. You got to avoid asking them to do anything important. One of the biggest mistakes you can make with an excuse maker is giving them an important task and expecting them to complete it. Instead, be strategic. Delegate elsewhere. If you need something done efficiently and correctly, ask someone who has a track record of delivering. Keep your expectations low. If you absolutely must rely on an excuse maker, don't expect much and always have a backup plan. You got to make it clear there are no easy outs. If your excuse maker does take on a task, ensure there's accountability. Let them know there are no get out of jail free cards, right? But breaking free from excuses, here's what you got to do. If you recognize that you sometimes make excuses, the first step is self awareness. This is for you if you're an excuse maker. Ask yourself, am I avoiding responsibility because it's uncomfortable? Do I fear failure more than I value growth? What would happen if I took full ownership of my actions? By shifting from this excuse driven mind to an action oriented one, you can open doors to success, better relationships, and personal growth. And I would add to that also just respect. At the end of the day, excuses might protect the ego, but they do nothing to build a better future and build relationships. And I'm going to leave you with this. For those who insist on living in Excuseville, you got to learn to love them from afar. Feed them with that long handled spoon and never put your trust in their empty promises. Hey, I am Gloria Bailey Ray, the Authentic Coach. This is your transformational thought for the day. Be well, thrive, be bold, be authentic. Peace and blessings. Thank you.